Hello Nigerians and welcome to Living TV Newspaper Review. My name is Nwagiri Chooks. Of course, you know our newspaper review is one of a kind because we give time to it, give you in-depth analysis of the things, topical issues that come in our national dailies. Today I have the honor of having an erudite scholar, a resource person who will help me go through the topical issues in the national dailies today. I have with me Saint Moses Obonna. Saint Moses, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, we have about 5 papers for review this today. So I have the Guardian, Punch, Daily Sun, This Day, and of course the Nation. And looking at the papers, something so topical about it today, which we're going to take time to go through. But first of all, I like to start with the Guardian. That's the first paper I have here today. I have a very bold headline: Government. PDP, CUPP squabble over alleged mayhem plot. The government of President Muhammadu Buhari is accusing opposition parties of plotting to create mayhem in the country. Barrister Moses, I don't know, what's your take on this accusation by the federal government?
Thank you, viewers, and Mr. Wangere, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
It's a very disturbing development when such accusations, such allegations are being propagated, especially from the quarters of government. When government says that certain people are plotting to use Boko Haram to destabilize the election, and the parties are alleging that the government is trying to use thugs to disturb the election, it moves away from what anybody can call a joke, because these people are the major actors in the field. These are the people whose machineries are capable of having an in-depth of what the other is doing. So it's very disturbing to hear such allegations, such throwing back of stones here and there. More so when certain people are expressing the fears that the election is it's not going to be free and fair, that there will be bloodbath, there will be bloodletting, there will be kind of rigging, even from the umpires. It's very disturbing.
Just a little bit, I'd like to read out something on the front page, or that's on the same story. So the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, who briefed reporters in Abuja, said the planned mayhem was aimed at triggering constitutional crisis that could snowball in the establishment of an interim government in the country. The minister, who declined to disclose the identities of the opposition parties behind the plot, said the federal government was taking measures to counter the plan. I'm looking at a situation whereby somebody is making a statement and you said you're not going to disclose the identities of the people who made it. Are we actually protecting the nation, or are we putting it more in danger?
You see, Lai Mohammed is the Minister of Information.
Yes.
It's not just a mean person, just somebody you can say his words can be thrown to the trash can and you continue.
Okay.
When he says he has it on authority, but he does not want to
review the identities.
It's more dangerous. It's more dangerous when he says that. The kind of pedigree people who want to build up around Lai Mohammed as one who spread falsehood, somebody who does not say anything anybody can be serious with. It's not one something like the allegation he is propagating. I think the nation should call on Lai Mohammed to reveal the identities of these people, except he wants to use it to victimize the opposition.
Do you see that?
It's possible. It's possible if you look at what is happening in the corruption fight, where it is being seen as a machinery employ used against the people of opposition. It's also possible.
Hold on, Barrister. Actually, this is not in our story, but you said something about corruption being a tool for hunting down opposition. But these people being accused, are they not guilty of as charged? You're a barrister. That's how you put it. Are they not guilty as charged, or don't we allow the law?
It is one who alleges that proves.
So
where you allege
Yeah.
And you cannot be able to prove. And the way you do that proof is at the law court. And none has been convicted since.
So you think it's witch hunting?
It's witch hunting. For instance, look at what is happening now. The third fund director that has just been appointed,
okay,
was removed on charges of corruption.
And now reappointed
to head the same third fund. And the one that has been removed now, appointed by the same age, is also removed. Maybe on the charge of corruption. Nobody has told this nation that the person that is now returning, that was removed on the account of corruption, has been cleared of those corruption charges. So when such things happen, okay, look at Babashe, who was removed when the pressure was on account of corruption. It's now part of the campaign council of the same government that is fighting corruption. You will see that corruption, if anybody charges them of using it to witch hunt the opposition, you cannot say that person is far from being true.
All right, Barrister, there's a similar story. INEC uncovers alleged new vote buying plans. That's just born out of that. From the story, there's a plan to, induce voters into voting through food vendors on the street. I don't know. Are we actually making progress with all these efforts in trying to, swear people into doing the wrong things and projecting the wrong persons into elected positions?
Remember, the day of the election is supposed to be a holiday.
Yes, that's sure.
Holiday includes no sale. Shops will be closed. Markets will be closed.
I'd like to be put clear here. When we declare a national holiday, does it involve the rural woman that is making food?
That includes no shopping.
Everything shuts down.
It's supposed to be around the voting area. You remember that the voting is not to last the whole day. There is a period when accreditation and voting ends. And again, accreditation and the voting goes simultaneously. It is not like when the situation where you accredit, you wait so that you can say that somebody is waiting, and at the time he's waiting for voting to begin, he may be hungry, so that he will have a food vendor around to sell. So I do not see all these alarms as real. But if there is going to be a vote buying, everybody is planning the same vote buying.
You said everybody.
PDP is planning vote buying. APC is planning vote buying. Everybody is planning vote buying. If the government of the day and the INEC wants to be sincere, they put law in place that will stop the possibility of vote buying. Let me tell you, those people who are crying for vote buying now has introduced what they call traders' money.
Isn't that a help for the nation?
When you say trader money, it's not vote buying. And you're asking the person that you are giving the money to bring his PVC number. That is
Is it a prerequisite for the money?
For the money. What is that for? And the telephone number. What is that for? Is it not a means of calling you to say, look, if you want another trader money, you must make sure you vote. We are monitoring your vote.
But Mr. Moses, don't you see that this is a way of telling people, go and get your PVC? If you must gain from the nation, you have to be active. You must be an active voter.
If you get your PVC,
yeah, if PVC becomes
what business has it to give it to government?
I mean, is it not a part of a
what
way?
What business have you to show your phone number along with your PVC?
Anyway, I'm not a member of any political
party. What we are doing is a review.
That's what I'm saying. So
we are saying that both parties and all the parties are collecting PVC numbers and the phone numbers. If the purpose is to identify he who has PVC with the phone number, then all the parties are guilty of it.
But I'm trying to get at something. Don't you think they are trying to encourage people to go for their PVCs?
If it is encouraging, why then do you cry that they are using it to buy votes?
I have another story on that. Okay, that's an inside story from page 5. We agree with Obasanjo on credible elections, says INEC. Recently President Obasanjo has been on the current past president has been on the president of Nigeria now, Muhammadu Buhari, saying he lacks credibility. He has not been during Nigeria the proper way. And then INEC is saying they agree with Obasanjo on credible election. Now, is INEC towing the line Obasanjo is working, or are they trying to prove that what the president has been doing over time is not the right thing?
If INEC says they're agreeing with Obasanjo,
yes, based on his utterances recently,
on credible election, that means INEC is saying that Obasanjo says that they are capable of having credible election.
Okay.
But what Obasanjo is saying, that until these elections are over, from what has been happening in the past,
yes,
there are fears whether INEC is capable of giving this nation a credible election. And INEC is saying, yes, we agree with you that we need a credible election. And we will prove to you that we are capable of giving a credible election. But the question is, which one is likely to be believed? Is it the fears of Obasanjo or the assurance of the INEC? If we look at Ekiti election,
yes,
and use Osun election, where the new system of where the present INEC has claimed that they are perfecting the system they are going to use for the general election, you will see that certainly there are doubts. When you begin to get up to declare, use inconclusiveness of election as a tool to rig election, because once you declare a place inconclusive, that means you have cancelled that election and asked it to be rerun. Then it is employed to use heavy armed men to destabilize opponents and declare one who was visibly losing. The fears of Obasanjo could be believed. But if INEC could come up to say, which I expected them to do, all the parties come into our system to see what we are doing. There should be agents of the parties, especially the three major parties, should send their agents into the INEC strong room to find out what the INEC is doing with the card reader, with distribution of voters' materials.
Sorry,
with the
are you talking about pre-election monitoring of INEC activities?
Pre-election monitoring of INEC activities. Certainly the fear is that nobody knows what INEC is doing now. That will manifest immediately after the election. Because if INEC is saying, we are saying sending what do you call card readers to units. And units are where the opponent, perceived opponent, are having their hopes to have majority of votes. And on that day they send a faulty
card reader
to that place. And the card reader did not operate. And the election of that place is declared inconclusive to be done the following day. Then what happens at that following day? There will be concentration of security apparatus there. Or when they say if a card reader did not function, you will do the following day. And the card reader that is supposed to accredit 500 people at the point of 100 accreditation, the card reader developed fault. Will you conclusively say that that card reader is not functional?
Well, I think if the card reader malfunctions and then the number of voters that's been accredited are not up to, let's say, up to 25%.
Who does the accreditation? It is the card reader. And the card reader is supposed to accredit 500 people. And it was functional until it gets to 100.
Yes.
And stops.
Yes.
If INEC insists that the 100 are the only people that claim, what will you say?
Well, I'm seeing a lapses on our legislation on that. We'll move a little bit away from INEC, election, PDP, LPC stories. Now let's go to security stories. We got a new IGP recently, and upon assumption of office, he has taken a position to decentralize the EPSA, the state, the that's the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, now reverses some posting by former IG Idris. The story on page 8 of the Guardian says that Idris decentralizes EFSAS, reverses strength postings reverses recent postings. Now I'm looking at Nigeria. When administration come and go, the next one comes and start a new project. Is this still this particular decentralization and the changes that's being done at this particular time when the nation is heading towards election? Do you see it as a right step in the right direction?
You see, there has been fears, and such fears, each steps that the administration takes, instead of allaying those fears, enhances it.
Sorry, I'm not trying to cut short. This is security.
Yes.
Now, to send a person to a particular place to monitor security, you need to be conversant with the environment. Now, I'm looking at changing some key positions that have been appointed by Idris, though it was just recently, and I think those people that would have known those areas before being appointed by Idris. Reversing them now, is it a witch hunt on Idris? Is it trying to show that I'm the boss now? Is it not showing that there has not been synergy between the current IG and the past IG?
You see, before the EFSAS was created, there was a loud cry on the activities of the
SARS, yes. That's correct.
Being a parallel
policing.
They were not under the commissioners of police.
Yeah, which he has corrected right now. He has now put them under, they are now under the direct supervision. That's the actual thing that they reversed. Is just the commission now is the one that gives orders to the SARS in a particular state.
Which means they are now a department of police in the state policing.
Yes.
Unlike what was then, they were just a different matter taking orders direct from IG instead of the
commissioner.
I think what is happening now is not a witch hunt on the former IG. It's just a correction of an anomaly.
When you say anomaly, I'd like to be put clear on what you mean by anomaly.
If the SARS that is presently created is under the Commissioner of Police,
yes, that's
and takes command from the Commissioner of Police, that is what it's supposed to be.
Now, reversal of postings by Idris,
that's the normal police postings. The IGP that is currently now will post to people who are loyal to him.
Is it supposed to be like that?
It's supposed to be like that. You must work with people who are loyal to you. Because if you work with because the present IG that is here now may not be friendly to all the policemen. Remember that when he comes in, all the DIGs are removed. New DIGs will be created.
Yes.
And those higher policemen or the lower policemen who are loyal to the DIGs that are being removed and the IGP that are being removed may not be very loyal to him, may not see him as a friendly IG. So the best thing is to put the people that are friendly to him, people who understand him, people who are likely to carry out the visions that he has in security.
So what do you make of the last minute posting that Idris actually did before he left office?
You know what happens in everywhere.
You would tell me
he wanted to, it may be that he wanted to consolidate, make sure that where he has his own skeletons will be blocked. Everybody has his own skeleton, and he cannot be said to be a saint like me. So for this new IGP to operate very, very well and from a clean slate, he needs to put his own men
to work safely.
That may be what informs his reversal of the postings.
All right, my esteemed viewer, it's nice having you, and of course the program is still newspaper review on Living TV, and I still have the honor of having a resource person and erudite scholar, Saint Moses Ogbonna, helping me to digest through the national dailies. We've been talking on stories from The Guardian and now moving over to The Punch. And of course, the story that Guardian tagged government PDP with squabble over alleged mayhem plot comes also on The Punch with a headline, Tinubu, there's a different story please. Tinubu, Oshomole, Amechi hit Obasanjo for attacking Buhari. Was Obasanjo attacking Buhari, or was he making factual statements.
Certainly he was attacking Buhari.
Okay.
If you read the letter, he sent out on whom Buhari is and what he has not done well. So that is attacking Buhari. So Buhari's aides cannot be said to keep quiet over it. Even though we know Obasanjo as one who cries when things are going wrong. Even if you listen to, there is a leaked tape where Amechi said that the only person he knows that loves Nigeria is Obasanjo. That he may even be a criminal, he may steal money, you may like him or not, but he is one person he respects, that is being a patriotic Nigerian. I think sometimes I don't like the way Obasanjo talks. Sometimes I don't like his timing of talking. Sometimes I even agree.
Are you trying to insinuate that those statements are politically motivated?
They are not politically motivated.
Okay, go on.
What many people may quarrel is the way he's saying it, the time he says it.
Okay.
But by the way Obasanjo is behaving, he has no friend he can shield. Today, when things are going right, you are his friend. But the moment you start derailing, he will tell you, you are derailing. That's my kind of man. You don't begin to tolerate people because they are your friends and things are going wrong. That's the kind of person I am. If you are doing good, I will tell you are doing good. The moment you begin to do wrong, it doesn't matter whether you like me or not. And that's the kind of person I think Obasanjo is. Obasanjo is alerting the nation, writing a letter to his friend where things are going wrong. And I think that is what any patriotic Nigerian ought to do. Yep. So it's not a hateful attack on Buhari. I think it is an attack that is supposed to be taken seriously and cautiously, if I were Buhari.
I don't know what I would say on this, but I have this particular headline that says Buhari is sick in spirit, body and soul. Is this a friendly handshake?
If you look at the happenings now, it shows that Buhari has been sick.
This is about sick in the spirit, body,
both body
and soul.
You see, the Bible, I know, said this in this language. When the spirit is willing and the flesh is weak.
Yes.
The only vehicle that conveys the intention of the spirit is the flesh.
Sure.
Is the body.
Sure.
So if the body is so weak that it's unable to convey the willingness of the spirit, that body is both sick, in spirit and in body. Remember that Aisha Buhari has not come out to debunk an alleged statement made by him.